says there could be more attacks if Iran doesn't sign a deal that would block it from ever getting a nuclear weapon. President Trump says an agreement has been prepared. All that's required is for Iran to sign on the dotted line. That's something the Iranians have so far refused to do. Hundreds of flight cancellations in Chicago and hundreds of thousands of utility customers left in the dark, the aftermath of storms that pounded the Midwest. Stunning comeback brings the Knicks to one win away from their first NBA title in 53 years. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 408 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
It is so different talking about MediShare as a way for paying for healthcare. Peter O'Brien is a husband and father who got some brutal news. He had blood cancer, and thankfully he and his family were MediShare members. They found out just how much MediShare is on their side.
That is the whole key when you're sick and you need that emotional support. You need somebody to, talk with you and, get you through the financials. That's the key. When you can't walk, you can't do stuff, and you got cancer in your body, you're like, you need help. Your family, friends, MediShare, you need it.
Yeah, imagine having an advocate and there's people walking you through this, helping you with your medical bills. It makes all the difference. You can save tremendous amounts of money, of course, with MediShare, but more than that, MediShare is for you. They're helping you, advocating for you, praying for you. Find out more. Be part of this. Here's the number, 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE, 844-45-BIBLE.
Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland is rolling into summer with big offers on new GMCs. Get a 26 GMC Sierra 15-head elevation with $7,000 customer cash with trade-in or 0% for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. Need heavy duty? Get the 26 GMC Sierra 2500 with $1,000 in rebates or 4.9% for 48 months. Plus save on 26 GMC Terrain and Arcadias with over $1,000 in rebates when you finance with GM Financial. See Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, or online at hurlchev.com. GMC, professional grade.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
With WKS Radio News, I'm Lucas Kenny. The Sherman County Commissioners met on Monday, June 8th, and I got to talk with Chairman of the Commission, Steve Everett, about the meeting. One of the things he mentioned included honoring Greg Keir, who served 15 years of service to the county on the hospital board.
Then we had the privilege of honoring Greg Keir, who had provided 15 years of service to the county on the hospital board. That's quite an endeavor to do that much service for the community.
In other news, thunderstorms swept the region on Monday evening, June 8th, bringing lots of things, including heavy rain and plenty of lightning. During these storms, around 11 p.m. Central Time, dispatch was called to the scene of Salem Lutheran Church, but it was too late for the church as it was struck by lightning, burned down, and the building was a total loss. For more information on these local stories and others, make sure to visit our website at nwksradio.net.
Today, skies will be sunny. We'll have a north wind at 15 to 25 with gusts up to 35 miles per hour this morning. Highs will be upper 70s. Tonight, we'll have clear skies and lows in the lower 50s. For tomorrow, it'll be partly sunny. We got a south-southeasterly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Highs will return back into the upper 80s. Overnight lows will be around 55 with clear skies. For the weekend, Saturday will be mostly sunny. We got a north-northeasterly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Highs in the upper 70s. Chances for showers and storms will increase during the overnight with a low of 55. Sunday, light rain is possible pretty much through the day. East winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s and overnight low in the lower 50s. Monday, light rain will continue. Highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Overnight lows in the lower 50s. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio is the place to turn to weekdays for the latest agriculture news and markets. Being a member of the National Association of Farm Broadcasters, we take pride in making sure you're informed of the latest news from the world of agriculture. Whether it's local, state, regional, or national, if it affects your farm or ranch, you can count on hearing it here. Daily reports from Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio are made possible by Farmers State Bank, Norder Supply of Scott City, Cornerstone Ag, and Woofter Construction and Irrigation.
Your business was built right here, so was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors, for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They eat and have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland is rolling into summer with big offers on new GMCs. Get a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation with $7,000 customer cash with trade-in or 0% for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. Need heavy duty? Get the 26 GMC Sierra 2500 with $1,000 in rebates or 4.9% for 48 months. Plus save on 26 GMC Terrain and Arcadias with over $1,000 in rebates when you finance with GM Financial. See Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas or online at earlchev.com. GMC, professional grade.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Garrett Wellbrock.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 KLOE and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
Denver with the blitz on the way. Ball deflected by Nick Bonito, and the Broncos win it.
The Blitz is presented by Earl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and FNB Bank, along with
IdeaTech Fiber Internet, Topside Portables and Pumping, The Insurance Agency, Pest Away, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinner, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. Right field. And this game is over. San Antonio with it. Fox out on the left side. Fox passes off to Harper. Angle 3 on its way. And good. Another one. Add to the total. That's 13.
There goes Sullivan. Ground ball through the hole on the right side. That's a game winner. Troy Johnston scores. Sterling Thompson walks it off for the Rockies.
Brunson gets it, fires up a 3. Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone with 1.2 remaining. Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby, and it's 107-106.
And good Thursday morning, everybody. June the 11th, and a beautiful morning out here on the high plains. The sun is shining. The wind is blowing. I mean, how would you have it any other way? The wind's going to blow quite a bit today, by the way. Windy and temperatures, though, in the mid-80s. Good Thursday morning, Garrett Wellbrock. How we feeling today?
I don't know. I think I'm still recovering from last night's Game 4. That was amazing.
I put that on the rundown. We have to talk about that here off the bat, no doubt about that. We will get to Christian Saez today, talking a little bit of Rockies baseball, who have won back-to-back, including a walk-off winner last night, as you did here. We're going to have some fun in segment 3 with a big-time question. talking about walk-off home run or winning a game on a buzzer beater. We'll get to that coming up in segment 3. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes gets another new deal. It's a tradition unlike any other. Every year, Mahomes gets a reworked deal. We'll get to all that coming up in today's program. But, yes, we have to start off this show talking about what we witnessed last night. If you witnessed it, watching that Knicks-Spurs game. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not a huge, as everybody knows, I'm not a big NBA guy. It's not my thing. But I kind of wanted to I had some time last night where I got the kids to bed and I was just like, I think I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to watch some of the late game. And the thing was, I kind of knew going in that the game was not going the way the Knicks were hoping it would go, to be honest with you. The Knicks were hoping that, they were going to come out and take this game and win this game a lot more easier because the Spurs had dominated the previous time in the Garden a couple nights ago. Well, guess what? The Knicks come out sleepwalking. They get down by 28 at one point in time if no one ended up watching the game. And they came storming back somehow, some way in the fourth quarter. They take the lead, and then they get a humongous play from OG Anunoby off a missed 3 from Jalen Brunson, which is going to live in NBA and Knick fans' history forever. Was just an amazing play with 1.2 seconds left, and they hold on to win. But the largest comeback in NBA playoff history, it was nuts. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was tracking the game on my phone initially, Garrett. I was like, I cannot believe, and this is why I wrote. I said I can't figure out this series because I was like, I don't understand it. The Knicks go up, they go 2-0 on the road. They come home to a unbelievable home court advantage there at Madison Square Garden. They get blown out of the water in game 1. Okay, so you're up 2-0. You kind of like, whatever, we're fine. Well, then in game 4, where, you need to have a little bit more urgency, they get down by 28. And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, how can you let this happen? And then as soon as I think that, here they come and erase a 28-point deficit to get a win. There's just so much you could talk about from this game. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was. I'm with you. I had the game on just kind of in the corner. I was doing some things around the apartment, and then I look at the score and I'm like, oh my gosh, this game's over. It's a 20-point game, first half, 25-point game, whatever it was. And the Spurs, they broke the most three-pointers ever in a playoff game record last night as well, and they still find a way to lose. I think they only had like 30 second half points, which is,
yes,
I mean, that's unbelievable. They were basically putting up 30 in about 10 minutes of play in the first half. It's just, what a comeback from the Knicks. And you started to like I don't have a say in this series by any means, but I started pulling for New York. I was hoping they would get that win because, I mean, that was just electric at the end.
It was absolutely nuts. The crowd was in it. It was probably the best NBA environment, one of the best NBA environments I've ever seen in my time. More on that in just a little bit, but just the game as a whole was crazy. Just watching that game and seeing them dig out of this massive hole, and the Spurs to let it happen. I mean, golly, what I watched a little bit of the post game with Charles Barkley, and he just let the Spurs have it because that was some of the worst basketball. And he didn't say it in this kind of words, but that was some of the worst basketball I've ever seen in my life. It was the worst half of basketball. He goes, how in the world can a team that's up by close to 30, all they do is shoot threes in a game? How can they do that? Because once again, like you mentioned, they went out there and drilled a bunch of threes in the beginning. Then they went ice cold in the second half. They didn't make any threes, and they still tried to keep on shooting them. And that ended up burning them. Absolutely ended up burning them.
Yeah, I think this is more of a choke job on the Spurs end than it is the Knicks comeback. I mean, obviously, you got to give the Knicks their flowers, but Victor Wembanyama was a no-show in the fourth quarter, and he's been that way in some of their losses, it seems. Like, late down the stretch, you don't see him at all, and once again, that's what it was. I don't think he scored like 2 points in the last 8 minutes, which, I mean, you got to give him the ball, especially if shots aren't falling. Maybe you should go to your 7-5 post man and give him the rock inside the paint. Seems like a good idea, but yeah, that's just, and like this play here on the Hurl GMC video stream, they ran a blob play for Stephon Castle at the end. Stephon Castle, the guard,
right,
and not the 7-5
I mean,
big
but
man.
I will defend them on this. I mean, everyone thought that. I mean, that's what I thought. I'm just Ross Volkmer on the couch thinking, well, guard one, Wembanyama's coming up here, and they're going to lob it to him, and he's going to dunk it. And you know what? They had someone on him, and so I actually kind of thought initially it was smart. But I think did Karl Anthony Towns get a little bit of a tip of that ball as it was inbounded, because it didn't look like it got where it needed to go. I'm not 110% sure on that, but the play of the night happened before that, though, with the Jalen Brunson three-pointer, who, by the way, Captain Clunch continues to deliver. But the three-pointer goes up. It's a little bit short, but it lays perfectly off the rim. Here's OG Anunoby timing it perfectly, flies in after inbounding the basketball, flies in, tips it in just perfectly, and the Knicks take the lead with 1.2 seconds left. That was the play of the game, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and once again, back to what I was saying about the Spurs kind of choking this. Before that, De'Aaron Fox gets a runaway break, and he could have just dribbled it out, gotten fouled, hit 2 free throws, go up 3. Said he tries shooting a layup, and he gets blocked by OG Anunoby, who he's the player of the game. I know Jalen Brunson, he's their star, but when Anunoby plays like that, I mean, the Knicks are going to be really tough to beat. I still don't think this series is over by any means. There's a lot of basketball to be played, and it's not going to be easy to win in San Antonio in Game 5, but now they're in the driver's seat.
I just could not believe what I was witnessing. It was because it wasn't like the Knicks just had an easy time getting back at those 28. You know, I mean, there were some bonehead turnovers by the Knicks in that comeback. I mean, there was one there with the Fox steal. I mean, what was Brunson doing? Yeah. I don't even know what he was doing. I mean, there was just. It was great theater. I mean, and you want to know why the reason why live sports is some of the best television out there? That was it last night. I mean, just crazy. Largest comeback in NBA playoffs history. The crowd there was electric. I'll give it that. It was nuts. I'll tell you what else is nuts is just watching who is there.
Yeah.
I mean, when they put the camera just somewhere, you know, it doesn't matter. They're focusing on a coach or they're focusing on a player, and you look off in the background, you knew somebody. Maybe not, but you knew him from something. Johnny McEnroe, Jerry Seinfeld, Adam Sandler and his wife were there, Taylor Swift. I mean, you knew it. I mean, you talk about just the biggest celebrity. I mean, I know they pump up the celebrity row all the time there, but that was ultimate celebrity row. I mean, anybody and everybody who could afford that ticket, which I'm guessing was between $5,000 and $10,000 at minimum, was there in that game. That was crazy. Absolutely crazy to watch that last night. And I can't figure out this series. I thought the Spurs would run away with it because they won 2 on the road. They'll come home, they'll at least get 1 at home, which they have. But I mean, it's been super hard to do that. And now we'll go back to San Antonio. I have no idea what to expect in game 5. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, all the pressure on the Spurs. I'll be interested to see, will they bounce back or will this kind of kill them? You know, will this be that devastating loss? It's like it's over now, or do they have a little bit of fight in them to make this series interesting? Of course, I think this is the second best game I've ever watched live in the NBA. I put this behind probably the 2016 Game 7 finals, but this is a very good number 2. And what a night it was.
What was that game in 2016?
The Cavs and Warriors Game 7 when LeBron came back 3-1.
Oh, okay. Yes. So this is the best series or best game?
Best game.
Okay. It was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that much. Another thing that stood out to me was you talk about the official swallowing whistles. I mean, I'm telling you what, they were playing tackle football out there at times. I mean, did you not watch the game be like, there's not a foul there? I mean, they just completely let them play. Absolutely.
I mean, you'd rather it be that way too. I'd rather them.
I'm not complaining.
Play,
like, wow, they're really letting that go.
Yeah.
I could not believe it, but that was unbelievable last night, and I cannot figure out this NBA Finals series, but it was epic for sure. As the Knicks get the win last night, coming back from 28 down. To get that win last night. Largest comeback in NBA Finals history in front of a ruckus and very well-known celebrity full crowd. And it was certainly pretty cool to see last night. We got to get to our first topic of the day here, and that would be the news of Patrick Mahomes. He gets another reworked deal. It happens every year, doesn't it? I mean, it feels like it happens every year. If not, it's every other year for Patrick Mahomes that he gets a reworked deal. I'm going to start with you and let you take this at first crack because you're the Chiefs fan. What does this say? What do you think about the deal, once again, that they've done with Patrick Mahomes? By the way, for those who haven't heard or read the news and notes on the stuff about Mahomes, but a lot of firsts. He's got a deal through 2033 valued at over $504.75 million. It makes him the first NFL player to get a deal valued over $500 million for Patrick Mahomes.
It's quite a bit of money, but of course you're putting all your investments in your best player in Patrick Mahomes, so I don't have any problem with it, of course. I think this says a couple of things, though. I would say the first one being the Chiefs are doubling down on trying to make another dynasty. Of course, this down year last season with all the injuries, and he was one of them. But you try to rework this so you can make some money and some cap space for other guys. They brought in Kenneth Walker this past offseason. You can probably imagine they hope to bring in more guys in the future with Patrick Mahomes now reworking this. We've seen it so many times, like you said. It seems like annual. I think it was the third time in about last 6 years for him. So it's basically every other year right now he's doing a rework deal. So it's also, to me, feels like the injury doesn't scare them at all, the Chiefs. I mean, you don't know. A lot of questionables coming into this 2026 season with the ACL and ACL, LCL, all those, pretty much his whole knee getting destroyed. But it shows me that they obviously trust their guy, and well, how couldn't you? He's got 3 Super Bowl titles under his belt, and I'm excited for the future as a Chiefs fan.
I mean, there's no doubt that they trust. They're there every day. They see him every day, him doing his rehab work. So they're like, yeah, we have no doubt. My first thought was, it's great to be king. And if you are Patrick Mahomes, you are the king of quarterbacks at this point in time. And the best part is, every time some new kid, whether it's new kid, but someone gets a new deal, whether it's Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts or whoever gets a new deal and becomes the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, Patrick Mahomes just has to go to Brett Veach and say, hey, don't forget about me. Remember, I'm number one. I'm still the king. And I'm not saying that he goes and does that, but the Chiefs know that. And they're like, well, we got to make sure that he's still the highest paid quarterback in the league, because he should be. He is the best at this point in time. He's the best currently active quarterback in the NFL. And so they need to make sure they pay him that way.
I think last year he was like 8 to 10 range on the highest paid. He was not high up there. I remember keep seeing those graphics of the highest paid quarterbacks. Like, that's crazy to me that he's not even top 5, but it's, all these teams, they want to lock up their rookie quarterback. And the only way to do that is, or not rookie, but their young quarterback, you got to give him the highest deal. So he stays with the team. And now Mahomes gets to wear that throne again.
Okay, Mahomes can make up to $522.25 million through incentives and escalators now in his career. Beginning in 2027, when the new money begins, the deal averages around $64 million per season. I mean, every time he gets a paycheck, it's over $1 million, right? I mean, it's 52 weeks a year. Let's say he gets a weekly paycheck. He gets over $1 million every paycheck. And I don't know how they do. I mean, it's probably every 2 weeks. So that means he makes over, almost $3 million every
it's
paycheck.
Probably 3.
Can you imagine? I can imagine that.
It says starting in 27, the contract averages $64 million a year. So that's
I'm sorry, I'm mathing this real quick. 64. Let's see. There's 52 weeks a year, but when to divide that, so 26. So 64 divided by 26. Yeah, 2.46 million every time he checks his bank account every 2 weeks for payday. $2.46 million. Just ridiculous. No, once again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Patrick Mahomes has not earned the money that he is getting. I think he absolutely has earned the money that he is getting. But It is ridiculous the amount of money that he is getting. It is absolutely nuts. It just reminds me of, have you ever seen, what is that movie? Why can I not think about it now? Tom Cruise is in there. He plays Barry Seal as a pilot running drugs for the cartel. Have you seen that movie before?
I don't think so, no.
Oh my gosh. I got to look this up. I got to look this up. And American Made. Okay, if you've never seen American Made, put it on your list. You have to see it. It's based on a true story, and you're going to be like, when you get to watch, like, that really happened. It's a fantastic movie. Watch American Made. But there's a moment where he's making so much money that he can't put it in banks anymore. He's burying it in the backyard. He's going out and looking for places to bury more money, and he keeps digging up his old money that he buried there. I mean, and he's on this humongous plantation. Like, he's just got unbelievable amount of money. That's what I think about Patrick Mahomes. He's trying to find places to bury his money in his yard. He doesn't know where to put it. He's got so much. But I don't know. It's amazing to see him. I mean, this has been an absolute grand slam from the Chiefs when they drafted him. Louis Riddick was saying something yesterday. I watched it on SportsCenter. They thought when they drafted him, they thought he was something special. He's been absolutely that and everything else. My biggest thing is for as we wrap up this conversation is, when you're Mahomes and you get all this money, remember, there is a cap. There is a cap, and you're going to take up a good portion of that money. What is the cap? $300 some odd million? I'm
not sure.
I'm going to look that
up. Around that. But, it's kind of, it feels like we're going to get to this topic probably in a year or so, maybe next year, maybe the year after. And he's probably going to rework it again to where he can, stay under the cap just enough if he has to take a little pay cut and then it's like incentivized more. They always find ways to rework these deals, especially with quarterbacks. And Mahomes seems to be very team friendly with this. He has never been one of those guys that's been like, no, I need my money. I don't care about the team's success type of thing.
He's over 20% of the salary cap is what he'll be in 2027. He'll be over 20% of the salary cap, which not saying he's worth it. He is worth it. But my point is when you've got that kind of deal, but yeah, I mean, that's absolutely crazy for sure. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts to see that. But you're going to need that money to pay other. You're going to need to go out and get some star receivers. You're going to go out and need some other things like that. Yeah, like I said, just crazy to think. But Patrick Mahomes gets another reworked deal. Here in 2026. Going to be making over $64 million starting in 2027, and he can make over $522 million through incentives and escalators beginning in 2027. So there you go. Let's see. The Hunt family and the Chiefs have now committed over $689 million in new money to Mahomes from 2022 to 2033. I mean, if he continues this, he can make over $1 billion in his career playing football, right? I mean,
I think he will.
Halfway.
Yeah, he probably will.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing for sure. Then I wonder why you see him out there opening up restaurants and sponsor, and buying into stakes of teams. He's got to put that money somewhere.
Yeah. And then he just keeps getting more on top of it. So.
Pat, 1803 Cherry, Goodland Ave. Just send one of those paychecks here. Well, it'll help us out in the morning blitz.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, Christian Saya is going to join us from DNVR Rockies, talking the Colorado Rockies and their recent winning streak. I don't know. It's not a winning streak. They've won 2 in a row, as Lou Brown would say. And a walk-off winner last night. But Rockies picking up some wins here or there. It's definitely a better season than was last year. Christian Sayers, a good friend from DNVR Rockies, joins us next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware probably has it. They eat and have milk. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
We've been serving ag families for generations because we believe farming isn't just a job, it's a legacy. Whether you're just starting out or expanding your operation, F&B Bank has flexible lending solutions designed for you. This is Loan Officer Kennedy Frank at F&B Bank. We're proud to be your hometown ag lender, member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It is Thursday, June 11th. July corn down 2 1/4 at 4.16 3/4. September down 2 1/4 at 4.25 1/2. December down 1 3/4 at 4.45 even. Soybeans on the July down 0.5 cent, 11.22 1/4. August unchanged, 11.27 3/4. November up 2 at 11.40 1/2. KC wheat on the July up 0.5 cent at 6.31. September down 1/4 cent at 6.39. December down a penny at 6.54 1/2. Chicago wheat down a penny at 5.86 1/2. Feeder cattle finished yesterday 354.37 1/2. Live cattle 250.10. Lean hogs 232.52 1/2. Crude oil futures up a nickel at $90.08. Gold futures down 37.40 at $4,070.80. Silver down 61 at 63.98 1/2. U.S. dollar index up 15 points at 108.10. Dow futures up 212 at 50,202. S&P futures up 37 at 7,318. If you need to move any cash, Grin, or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Saluto, or Tyler Gush, 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Hornflies, they thrive physically, and you thrive economically. Alticid IGR helps ensure your cows keep their heads down so your profits keep going up. The first and proven feed-through for hornfly control is proven to increase daily weight gains by up to 15.8%. So when it comes to keeping cattle healthy and happy, the proof is in the profits. See the Alticid IGR advantage at AlticidIGR.com.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
(8:33 Central, 7:33 Mountain). This Thursday, June 11th. Thanks for joining the Morning Blitz. Once again today, going to be a little blustery. Temperature's going to be nice. Highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. Winds, though, out of the north, anywhere from 20 possibly to 45 miles per hour. Could be some blowing dust throughout the day, so be aware of that. Looking at some cooler temperatures coming up here on Sunday, but temperatures back into the 90s Friday and Saturday here on the High Plains. All right, let's get to the phone, the Hoover Lumber Hardware Hotline. We're pleased to be joined by Christian Saez, our good friend from DNVR Rockies. Good morning, Christian. Thanks again for joining us, my friend. How are we doing today?
Good, Ross. How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll tell you, what's it like covering all this winning? I don't know if can you handle all this winning for the Rockies here recently?
It's a roller coaster. I mean, in the month of April, you look at the Rockies schedule, and it was, I think we had talked about it actually, Ross. It was the hardest in baseball. You were playing every team that was above 500. You're playing the Dodgers twice, Padres a couple times. And the Rockies actually were one game below 500 in the month of April. Then the month of May comes around, and you seemingly have a little bit easier of a schedule, and they just, it's like they went back to 2025. I mean, it looked as bad as we saw the year prior, and when they almost lost the most games in the history of baseball. June has been a little bit better. They've started well. They've won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs here these last couple days. But yeah, it's a roller coaster. That's part of rebuilding when you're a team like that. Is it's not always pretty.
What would you say kind of the differences were from April to May and now hopefully to have a better June?
Yeah, to be honest, I think you came into April with a lot of momentum. And I say momentum kind of casually, but I mean, you came into this season with a chip on your shoulder in a way. You almost lost the most games in the history of baseball in 2025. And then you bring in this entirely new front office. The organization goes through this complete identity change where you kind of uproot everything that this team has been doing in the past. You get rid of the old and you bring in all of these new faces. You bring in a new interim manager who the players seem to really like and respect, and you bring in some new players, and there was just an energy shift. And I think they came in with this chip on their shoulder in April that allowed them to compete with some of these teams. And then May came around, and I think it just kind of wore off. I think, the honeymoon phase kind of slowed down. The energy slowed down. They were making bad mistakes. It just, again, it felt a lot more like 2025 from an output perspective. And I think that was a wake-up call for them. Now, this team is still the worst team in baseball. They're still not going to make the playoffs or even come close. They'll still be in the bottom 2, teams in baseball this year, depending on how the Angels do. But I think when you look at the rebuild for the Rockies, you have to look big picture. And there are some metrics that you can point to that even though the record is still really bad, they are on the upswing. And, offensive approach has been much better. Organizationally, they've been much better. Even some of the moves that the new front office has made, like trading for TJ Rumfield, who's currently in the Rookie of the Year conversation at first base for the Rockies, like that, like those kind of things you can look at and say, okay, that's not how we were doing things in the past. And it's going to take a while for this team to start really winning again, but it's headed in the right direction.
Christian Sai is our guest, DNVR Rockies, talking Rockies baseball, coming off a 3-2 win last night over the Cubs in walk-off fashion. You mentioned TJ Rumfield. I wanted to talk about him a little bit. You mentioned him being in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, possibly. How great is this addition looking from the Rockies' perspective? I mean, obviously numbers-wise, but maybe in the clubhouse too. Is this a guy that they could build around? Is he that kind of guy, or is he just a nice piece to have at this point in time?
I don't know if he's a build-around piece yet, but he certainly has the tools to be. And as of now, at minimum, he's just a great piece to have. I mean, he's the sole reason the Rockies even had a chance to win that game last night. The Rockies were in the 8th inning. They were down 1-0, and he had a 2-run home run. And so, he's. I think we got to nickname him Mr. Clutch because he doesn't do anything too flashy. Albeit last night he had a go-ahead home run. But usually it's just pretty fundamental baseball, but he does the little things really well. And I even was talking about this on our show the other day. I was like, he's one of the most boringly good baseball players because he's not hitting 500-foot home runs like you see Murakami doing with the White Sox. He's not like super flashy personality-wise, kind of shy, kind of quiet, but you can trust that he's going to put together a quality at-bat and quality defensive play every time he steps out there on the field. And, you got a guy in scoring position and TJ comes up and he's going to find a way to get the ball in play. And the Rockies have not had a guy like that in a long, long time, probably going back to their playoff teams with Nolan and Trevor Story and DJ LeMahieu, like those kind of guys. And so you see a guy like TJ Rumfield, who you got traded from the Yankees. He was blocked by Ben Rice over with the Yankees, so he didn't have a path to the big leagues. You get him over here, and he just kind of turns into this little gold mine. And I don't know if he'll get the Rookie of the Year. Sal Stewart's doing pretty well. There's a couple other National League names that are in that mix, but he's definitely in the conversation. Which for Rockies fans is, hey, first year, man, that's a great start.
When you're talking about young players, obviously you got Rumfield, but there's other guys as well. I mean, we've hit on Chase Stolander and kind of the breakout year he's had a little bit. And then Charlie Condon coming up through the ranks in the minor leagues. What are some other type of young pieces that Rockies fans can be excited about here in the future?
Yeah, last night was a perfect example of that, actually, because the Rockies called up Cole Carrig, who I think was their number 6 prospect overall, but he has had the best season in the minors up to this date, and we had all kind of been. He was the one who was knocking on the door. Even though Condon's had a really good year, Carrig has had even better of a year. He's a outfield shortstop kind of utility guy, super, super athletic. You kind of look at like Brenton Doyle, Rockies center fielder who's hurt right now. You look at like that same body type, same style, but just a better plate discipline. And so you call up Cole Carrig, I believe it was 2 days ago, and he made his debut. His first major league hit was a triple, which tracks because he's one of the fastest guys in baseball. And then last night, you have Sterling Thompson, who got called up, albeit his was more injury related, and he had good numbers in AAA, but I think he's more of a bench piece for the Rockies. But Sterling Thompson was the guy who got the walk-off hit in the 9th inning. TJ Rumfield gets the go-ahead home run. Cole Carrig is the one who's dumping the Gatorade on player. It's just, you could see that some of these young guys are starting to develop and starting to make a name for themselves. And it's going to be a long road to recovery. And I think, not all of these young guys are going to be a part of the answer, but it's nice to see the identity shifting for the Rockies. They're not just throwing guys at the problem either. They're really waiting until they earn their spot. Carrig, you could have pointed to 50 times this year that he could have gotten called up, and the front office made it a point to say, hey, you know what? We're going to be patient. We're going to wait. We're going to let him kind of keep developing, and when the time's right, we'll bring him up. So, it's a shift from what we've seen, and how this team's operated in the past.
Christian Saya is our guest, DNVR Rockies. The offense, we see bits and pieces of that starting to kind of flash from time to time. Pitching, though, and numbers-wise, the numbers will back it up. It's one of the worst stabs and one of the worst pitching things into all of Major League Baseball. What's the silver lining? What are your thoughts on the pitching staff as we push forward? Because you're right, we have seen improved offense so far from the Rockies, but what about in the pitching department?
To be honest, I think silver lining is this is giving the front office a lot to work with, like data-wise. I've always said, as coming into this season, especially with a lockout looming in 2027, that this season is pretty much just a one big science experiment for this new front office. You've got an entirely new front office that has never, or at least not for a long time. I think Josh Burns, he was in the front office like 20 years ago in Colorado, but has never really worked with elevation, never really worked with Coors Field, and haven't worked with the Rockies. And so it's this rookie season, so to speak, for this entirely new organization. And I think they're all trying to figure out how to compete at Coors Field, as are we all. And pitching is the biggest question mark. And so I think when you look at this season, yes, as fans, it sucks to see pitching being as bad as it's been. But I think you're giving a lot to work with, a lot of data, a lot of insight for this front office to work with moving forward, so that they can make decisions to say, hey, you know what? We got a guy like Tomoyuki Shigano. We talk about silver linings. Got him from the Orioles, who he made technically his rookie season last year after coming over from Japan, one of the greatest Japanese pitchers, overseas. And he comes to Colorado, and he's been, all things considered, lights out for the Rockies. He's been one of the most stable, consistent pitchers. And so I think if you're the front office, you look at guys like that and you say, okay, well, he doesn't throw 100 miles an hour. He's not like he doesn't have devastating stuff, but he can locate his pitches, and he's got 8 different pitches to work with. Like, maybe that's the blueprint, And so I think it gives you a lot of information to work with. And that's a win to me. If you can get through the season and you can make educated decisions moving forward, that's a win to me.
Of course, the front office, they're going to have a big, month here coming up. And then, of course, here to the end of June, with the trade deadline popping up at the end of July. What are some moves that you think the Rockies should make? Obviously, they're going to be on the selling side of things, but I keep hearing Mickey Moniak being a name being brought up. Do you think the Rockies should move off of him, or maybe keep him for some time?
Mickey is a tough one. He's on the fence for me. If the Rockies traded him, first of all, I think he's got the second most value on the team in the trade market. And so if the Rockies traded him, I wouldn't be shocked. But he's also young enough that, I mean, he's 28 years old now, just turned 28. I wouldn't be surprised if they held on to him and say, hey, you're kind of reaching your prime right now. We need someone like this just to actually help us win games through this rebuild. Maybe we'll hold on to you. And I said that he's the second most valuable player in the trade perspective, because there's one guy who I think is, I'll go out on a limb and say he's 99.9% chance is gone. I would even go as far as to say he's 100% gone. I don't know it for sure, but I can tell you it's going to happen, because Antonio Senzatella has had one of the better relief, seasons out of any reliever in baseball this year, which just kind of came out of the blue, given that he was one of the worst pitchers in baseball last year. And he moved to the bullpen and has just blossomed as this incredible bullpen arm who has incredible stats. And he's on the last year of his contract. He has a player option for, I couldn't even tell you what it is off the top of my head, but it's not team friendly. And I don't think the Rockies are going to take that. It would be dumb for them to take that. They don't need to spend $20 million on a reliever. And so it is a 100% chance that Antonio Senzatella gets shipped off somewhere else this season. And he's been a huge blessing for Rockies, because it's like, you know what? You found a guy who you didn't expect to get any value from based on how he's pitching last year. And you're now going to hopefully be able to flip him for a top 10, maybe even, 2 top 10 prospects come the All-Star break. So there's a couple guys. Shigano's kind of in that list too. But I also don't think the Rockies are going to completely blow up their roster, because they've made an emphasis on saying, hey, look, yes, we need to get better. We need to improve. We're still the worst team in baseball, but we do feel like we have guys that can help us win now. And they want to win baseball games. And so they're at a point where they're like starting to be competitive at times with teams. And so I don't think they want to completely blow it up. And, I think they're going to be very calculated in like 1, 2, maybe 3 moves that try to get them the most reward in return.
Christian, we had a texter chime in with a question. He wants to know how much of an influence, if at all, Broncos ownership is having on the Rockies.
That's a great question. And from my perspective, and I've kind of been in conversations behind the scenes through all of this, the Penner Group, who came in, they bought 40% minority share in the team. The Momforts still own the majority share of the team. The Penners, to my understanding, are not, they're not bringing in money for new contracts, signing players, anything like that yet. Doesn't mean that won't change later. But for my understanding right now, the Penners are coming in to pay off the debts of the Rockies right now, because when the Rockies lost their TV deal, they switched over to a Major League Baseball streaming deal, as a lot of teams have a couple of years ago. And that took $50 to $75 million off the books right there. And it pretty much put them in a hole. No matter how many people show up to the games, it put them in a hole, because those TV deals for a lot of teams are what ends up making the money. And the Rockies don't have one anymore. And so they had all of this debt. They have big contracts with Chris Bryant that aren't paying out. They have, facilities, structural debt, real estate debt, all of those kind of things. The Penners came in and said, hey, look, we'll take care of all of this debt so that it frees up your financial ability to go then spend your own money on players. So will the Rockies immediately become one of the highest spending teams in baseball? Absolutely not. But just like paying off a credit card, it frees up a little bit of your own money to actually work with. So you're not having to pay those monthly, debt fees and all that kind of stuff. So to my understanding, that's what's happening. I also, just my intuition, not hearing this around the clubhouse, but my intuition, I do think depending on what happens in this lockout, will say a lot about whether or not the Momforts are going to want to keep holding on to that majority share of the Colorado Rockies. And if this lockout goes in the other direction from what the Momforts want, I predict that the Penners are putting themselves in a good position to buy the majority share of the team.
One more, Christian. About a month before we have the All-Star break, what do you want to see out of the Rockies here over the next month? Just in general terms.
In general terms, I mean, from a wins and losses perspective, I've loved what they've done in the month of June. They're hanging in there with some good teams. They're beating the bad teams. You got swept by the Brewers, who are a very, very good team, and those things are going to happen. It's not like the Rockies are a good team right now, but you're beating the bad teams, and so I'm happy with that. You're beating you beat the Giants. The Cubs, who are really struggling right now, you've won 2 of 3 and going for the sweep tonight. Like, if you can keep doing that, where you say, hey, look, yeah, we have the worst record in baseball, but we're able to push through some of these low-level teams and get the win. That shows some improvement from a wins perspective. And then I think just looking at some metrics, across the board, lowering the swing rate, first pitch strikes, it sounds simple, but the Rockies do it so bad. And that's why I think in a lot of cases, it just becomes very sloppy baseball and it leads to losses. So if you can kind of continue to improve on those metrics, keep beating those bad teams, make it seem like it's not your worst, not the worst team in baseball, then I think that's you're on the right track.
At least you're not the Cubs, right? I mean, you talk about a team that's in a bad spot. I mean, they were 27 and 13 at one point in time. It has just been an absolute just free fall for the Cubs.
Oh, and the Giants. I mean, we just played the Giants not that long ago and took 2 out of 3 against them, and it was the exact same thing. Granted, they didn't have the good start that the Cubs did, but Giants fans are like, the Giants. I don't know if you've noticed this. In the last 30 days, they are first in batting average, first in slugging, first in OPS across baseball. Like, their offense is one of the best in baseball right now, and their pitching is so bad that they're losing almost every single game. And and as fans, you look at that and you're just like, what is happening? So yeah, there are a handful of teams out there that the Rockies have been able to actually kind of, shove it to them, and that definitely has been one of them.
He is Christian Saez, DNVR Rockies, our good friend. Christian, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always great to catch up. We'll do it again a little bit later on this summer.
Absolutely, Ross. Always happy.
Once again, great stuff there from Christian Saez on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Rockies win last night, 3-2, walk-off winner there, coming for the Rockies in the form of Sterling Thompson with the big RBI single that gets it done, 3-2 there in the bottom of the 9th with the walk-off win. I still can't get over how the Cubs cannot win a game. Can you imagine being just a fan of the Cubs? I mean, you're just like, God, it's going to be a great year. We're going to be awesome. Yeah. And now you're like, we can't find the win column if we tried.
See, that's like the complete opposite of being a Mariners fan, because they always start out horrible. So I never have to worry about them starting out good.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. By the way, the Royals last night, losers in 10, 6-4 to the Rangers. 4-hit night, though, for Jack Caglione. He is white hot right now. 4 for 5, 2 runs, and an RBI for Jack Caglione, who's white hot. He also had a great throw from right field to get a runner down at the plate, which was really good. But Royals end up losing that one 6-4 in 10 innings to the Rangers. Okay, let's get to break. We'll come back. Garrett's got a question for the room. What is better, a walk-off home run or winning a game on a buzzer beater? I've got my thoughts on it. What do you? You can text the text line 785-899-2222. We'll get to that thought to wrap the show next in the Blitz.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
At Next Tech Wireless, we built a network for Kansans by Kansans. But just because our roots are here, it doesn't mean your adventures have to be. Take that trip, explore new places, make new memories. You can count on reliable service every step of the way. Bring your number to us to get unlimited data plus a Samsung Galaxy S26 for as low as $25 a month. Next Tech Wireless, connecting Kansans for 20 years, wherever life takes you.
Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland is rolling into summer with big offers on new GMCs. Get a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation with $7,000 customer cash with trade-in or 0% for 60 months plus no payments for 90 days. Need heavy duty? Get the 26 GMC Sierra 2500 with $1,000 in rebates or 4.9% for 48 months. Plus save on 26 GMC Terrain and Arcadias with over $1,000 in rebates when you finance with GM Financial. See Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas or online at hurlchev.com. GMC, professional grade.
Here's a bright idea. Streaming without buffering. It's not 2014. There's no reason for laggy internet and buffering shows. IdeaTech has the technology. It's fiber optic cable. IdeaTech has brought high-speed fiber to 75 communities and counting. Don't put up with outdated internet. Streaming without buffering. Another bright idea from IdeaTech. Get fast, modern IdeaTech internet at ideatech.com.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
All right, just a couple minutes left to go on a Thursday show. Been a fun one thus far. FB Bank text line has been pretty hot. Lots of people chiming in. We go back to the Mahomes conversation. Steve from Bickelman says we were talking about Mahomes, and his $64 million. He goes, that's like winning the lottery every year. Of course, Michael, our resident Broncos fan, says at least he gets to enjoy his money watching the Broncos win the West and the Super Bowl. Of course, Michael would say that. Jared H. says, let's see what the details of the contract are. Chiefs always structure contracts so they can find ways to move money around. Couldn't agree more there, Jared. Brian says, now Josh Allen will ask for more. Every time Patrick Mahomes gets a pay raise, Josh gets more, and then Patrick gets it back. They just go back. They probably have a scheme in there at some point in time. There you go. And thank you to the text line. We'll get to some more thoughts in the text line on our question of the segment. That would be, what is better, a walk-off home run or a game-winning buzzer beater? I think it's a perfect time for it because there was a great walk-off home run yesterday as the Giants hit a grand slam just over the right field fence to get a walk-off winner over the Nationals, which was amazing. A grand slam walk-off winner. And then, of course, you had a tip-in. It's not quite a buzzer beater, but it's pretty close by OG Anunoby to win it for the Knicks. So which one is better, Garrett? Where are you going?
I wish I could say I've done one of these two in my life, but I can't say I have. I'm going to go with the walk-off home run. I just think my reasoning for this is because there is no clock in baseball. You never know when it might happen. Of course, it's got to be in the ninth inning or in extra innings, but you never know. It could be the leadoff hitter. It could be with 2 outs and guys on base. You never know. You do know when a buzzer beater is happening. And plus, in baseball, anybody can hit a walk-off. In basketball, if you're not the star player, you're probably never going to get a buzzer beater unless the ball just somehow gets tipped to you. I mean,
that's an average take on that thing. Anybody can make a buzzer beater. Shoot.
But if you're not the star player shooting the ball, though.
I get that, but that doesn't mean you can't get, like you said, the tip in or a rebound put back, something like that. I'm not going to buy that one right there, Garrett. Not buying that. You have your right to say it's a walk-off homer. I think it's very difficult to choose between the two. I'm actually taking a basketball buzzer beater. And I think the reason for this, I think the only reason why I can say this is because I think it's the reaction of the crowd. Like when a buzzer beater shot goes up, it's deathly silent. Like all you hear is the horn. And then it's the pop, from the crowd and all that stuff. And because in basketball, the fans are pretty much right on top of you, it just feels like you're all intermixed. Baseball, I get it. You can kind of be on top of you a little bit, but you get the hit. You got to kind of watch a little bit, and you have to make it all the way around the bases before your team can mob you. Now you can get mobbed right away after that sucker goes in a basketball game by your teammates. I'm going to take the buzzer beater. Doesn't matter. I mean, we had a couple of text line thoughts come in on this. Officer Jared says he'll take a walk-off anytime, but he says it's because he'll watch an NBA game over the NBA any day, which I'm with you there, Jared, but it doesn't matter if it's a college game or whatever. Lucas chimed in from just outside the door. Shout out to Lucas out there. He says He was saying that if it's in college and March Madness, he's taking a buzzer beater. If it's professional, give me the walk-off home run in the World Series. So it depends. I'm a little on Lucas's side on that too. The college stuff is definitely really, really good. And then Michelle chiming in, whichever sport you like better. If you like baseball better, walk-off home run. If you like basketball better, yeah. Thanks, Michelle. Way to sit on the fence. Appreciate that one. I'm taking basketball, and I even like baseball better.
Yeah.
But I'm taking basketball. There's something about that just hush of a silence for a split second, and then the pow of excitement. It's great.
Now, I think the one counter to the walk-off home run that I will say for the buzzer beater is the road team can hit a buzzer beater. It's not possible in baseball for the road team to hit a walk-off. So that is pretty cool. I will say when the road team hits one and then it just goes silent. Little silencer, yeah.
I just about witnessed that in person at the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament this previous spring. I was in Oklahoma City watching Nebraska take on Vanderbilt, and I just about saw that bank shot from three-quarter court go.
Oh, wow.
That would have been deathly silent.
That was one of the that would have gone in. That would have been probably the best shot in March Madness.
It was really close. I was there to see it in person. It was interesting for sure. All right. Great question. But yeah, walk-off home run or game-winning buzzer beater. Garrett's going with the homer. I'm taking the buzzer beater. Okay, here we go.
High drive, deep left, grand slam! And back lifts his ball high, deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on the New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman, jackpot, Kansas City.
Well, Garrett, the World Cup begins today here in the United States. How much World Cup do you plan on watching?
Well, definitely the U.S. and maybe some of the other countries, like the bigger countries, Messi and Ronaldo. But I don't know. Today I'll probably watch it because one of my buddies actually coming to town, staying the night with me, and he's a big soccer guy. So probably gonna go watch some of those games.
Just trying to see. Spain is the current favorite to win it all. France behind them. England, Portugal, and then Argentina and Brazil, kind of your top six. The United States, where are they? 50-1 with Japan at this point in time.
Yeah.
I still love the commercial. Have you seen the commercial where there are two guys sitting in a bar and what you don't believe that you don't think we're going to win, or this one guy thinks we're going to win the World Cup, and this buddy goes, we ain't winning the World Cup. And there's Michael Eruzione for the Miracle on Ice sitting on the other end of the bar. He goes, what? You don't believe in miracles? Gets up and walks away. Oh,
that's good. I need to see that.
That is so good. What? You don't believe in miracles? That commercial is fantastic. I think it was Fox, who of course we broadcast the games. I think it's their commercial. It's really good. You got to check that out. It's fantastic. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Garrett Wellbrock, I'm Ross Volkmer. Join us tomorrow on a Friday. We're talking Men's College World Series with Eric Sorensen. He'll join us live on the program from Omaha. We'll talk to him tomorrow on the Morning Blitz. Have a good one.